can you hear me?
Yes.
The original bill was something different than this amended bill. The original bill did two things. It moved the bracket out and reduced the 7% rate by name, such that all of the income tax benefit went to people making $33,000 or more. In working with the Senate, Senator Sample brought me a different idea, and that's what's incorporated in this bill. This bill takes 1/10 of a point off of all of the income tax rates, so that when fully implemented, as you see, the effect is fully implemented in 16, we will have 1/10% off of each rate. So an absolute rate reduction, obviously, is the greatest percentage reduction at the lowest rate. So for example, the 1/10 of a point off of the 1% rate is a 10% rate reduction, whereas the 1/10 of a point off of the 7% rate is under 2%. The bill phases in so that in the beginning, the lowest rates are implemented first. That's the $5 million impact in 14, and then in calendar 15, the rest of the rate reductions go into place, yielding the full impact in fiscal 16.
The only thing I will clarify for Representative Collins is that the impact was lowered in 14.2.4 just by the lowest bracket. But other than that, absolutely, the bill that you have, the amendment basically replaces the. Go ahead and send it out.
Representative Collins, I've studied the bill as it was before the amendment, and I know in that bill, in addition to the 1/8 reduction, you moved up some brackets, like you went from 34,000 roughly to 44,000 before 7%. Does this change that bracket, or does it just take off 1/10% of everything with the brackets that are now?
It leaves the brackets the same. It does not make that change as the other bill did.
Okay. So if someone has $100,000 taxable income with the 1/10% reduction, that would be a $100 benefit. With 1/10% reduction.
If a person makes $100,000, they'll feel all of the brackets. So in the portion of their income that's taxed at 1%, which would be the first 3,000 or 4,000, they'll see a 10% reduction in their tax. In the next bracket,
But if it's 1/10% across the board of those, I mean, a $100,000 person, but I understand there's some that are lower. But that person that, let's say, makes $44,000, you know, if we had just moved them from 34 to 44 as your original bill did, and left 6% to 7%, they get $100. I'm more interested in dollars than percentages. They would have gotten $100 benefit. Where now, with the 1/10 reduction across the board, they're going to get less than $50 benefit.
there's no question, Senator, that in the original bill, that particular income range you're describing, from 34 to 44, got a dramatically greater percentage of the benefit. But those under 34 got zero in the prior bill. Whereas in this bill, people will begin getting a benefit on their first dollar of income. And even if they never make $34,000, they'll get a higher percentage reduction than people that are making $100,000 a year. Whereas in the other bill, that's not the case.
A higher percentage of a very small amount.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think, and I had some issues, and I've told you previously on the bill as originally drafted with that 1/8. But the bracket adjustments, I thought did more for low to moderate income people, and I think we've taken some of that away in real dollars. That's some of my issues.
Other questions by members of the committee? Senator Teague has a question for Mr. Tice.
Mr. Tice, help me understand, the impact is 2.4 in 14 now?
That's correct, with this amendment that you just approved.
And what did we do that did that?
The 1% bracket reduces to 0.9% effective January 1, 2014. That's a $5 million total cost for the full tax year. You'll get half of that effect in fiscal year 14 because half of fiscal 14 is in tax year 14. then the balance of it kicks in after that.
And so first year, 2.4, second year is
32.5 million.
cumulative.
That, yes, and that's because you're now feeling the effect of the reduction in all of the remaining tax brackets. Plus, you're getting the other half of the 1% bracket from the prior year. And then full phase-in is in FY16, at which point it's between 55 and 56 million dollars.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions of the sponsor? Seeing none. Give a motion. Well, give another motion.
I'm moving to adopt the amendment.
Sure. Without objection, the amendment is adopted. We'll take brief comments from the audience if there are any for or against. Are you for? Against? Are your comments much different than they were in 1966?
A little different, yes, sir.
Okay. Briefly, we'll hear them.
Thank you, Chairman Fowler. What I wanted to say was, I believe it was Senator Rayford who, at the start of your committee meeting, came up here and presented the reduced sales tax on food items. And as I recall, that bill has a trigger in it that certain conditions have to be met before that reduction or elimination of all but the 1.8% would go into effect. You have on your agenda, I don't know, 25 bills or so. That's the only bill that has a trigger. That's a bill that affects middle income and lower income taxpayers. All of the other special interest bills, it's like everybody just assumes, well, we've got the money for those.
Mr. Haas, are you speaking against House Bill 1585?
Yes, sir, I am.
I don't think you are.
Okay.
So you would keep your comments to House Bill 1585.
1585 is even worse than 1966, best vote against it. Again, it goes the wrong direction. We already have a very progressive tax system in this state, and this makes it even more progressive. Thank you.
I accept that motion for immediate consideration. Senator Sanders moved to pass. I see a second.
Are you voting the motion or are we just doing that on the
That's all right. We're not voting on the motion. All those in favor of immediate consideration say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Motion passes. Senator Sanders moved to pass on the bill as amended. I see a second. Senator Hester seconds. All those in favor of the bill as amended say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Ayes have it. Roll call. See you later. Roll call. Okay. Roll call, E. No.
Senator Lamar.
Yes.
Senator Sanders.
Yes.
Senator Fowler.
No.
Senator Sanders.
Yes.
Senator Hester.
Yes.